All right. So we're back doing another podcast. Tonight's podcast is gonna be a continuation of what we started earlier during the finals. We've uploaded the first episode last night. It was the review on the Atlantic Division. Tonight we're gonna do the review on the Central Division. So that would be the Bulls, the Pacers, the Bucks, the Pistons, and the Cavaliers. But before we do that, news just dropped. The NBA did a vote for the play-in, and the play-in is gonna stay based on the owner's vote. What do you guys think about that?
I love
Play-in
it.
staying.
Yeah, I think that's good.
The
I like the
playing,
plan.
the playing is extremely intense, and that's the best part about it.
I think the
Like-
most viewed, or most, even if it wasn't the most viewed, I know the most entertaining games this playoffs were the KD almost game winner game
Yep,
and the Warriors Lakers game in the play-in.
that
Those are
game
the
was
two
crazy.
games. Those are the two memorable games for me, apart from obviously the game where the Bucks closed it out, Game 6 of the finals.
Yeah,
Those two are the more memorable games for me.
I felt like
Because
the Lakers were about to make it to finals just off of that performance. 'Cause I thought LeBron was just about to go crazy.
yeah, LeBron hit that huge like icing shot, the game winner shot,
Yeah, the dagger.
the dagger shot at the end of the Warriors game with a minute left. And after that, it looked like okay, these guys might go back to back, and then it just
Yeah.
really went to shit right after that.
Facts.
But yeah, we're gonna jump now that that's out of the way. We're gonna jump right into the team speculations. So we're gonna start off with the Bulls. I'll give it to Barjinder for this one.
So basically, from what I found, from looking at the team, the Chicago Bulls, is I noticed that they're kind of lacking at the small forward position. Do you guys agree with me on that? What do you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. They have to
they-
get more
they-
wings.
They need more wing players for sure. I think full time, if they were to go with Zach LaVine, I think he would have to come down to the point guard spot just so they can have some wing defenders.
Yep.
Because
Another
most
thing-
of their best
sorry.
wing, the best wing they have is either like Patrick Williams, Denzel Valentine,
He's garbage.
yeah, Garrett Temple. Like, yeah, they're really weak on.
They're really weak on the wings especially because Patrick Williams is only 19. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
one of
kinda
the
difficult.
one of the things speaking about Garrett Temple was I was thinking it was like I think the Bulls should definitely move Garrett Temple, maybe trade him away, see what they can get back. We got the draft coming up. I really think the Bulls should try to pursue like a small forward, right? Something
What-
like a young small forward, promising as well. Right?
What pick do they have in this year's draft?
I'm not too
Um,
sure. I'm checking right now. They have they don't have a first round pick.
Wow, that is terrible.
Yeah.
They traded away. They traded away the pick for Vucevic,
Yeah, for Vucevic. So
and that's a bad trade. in
the
my
Magic
opinion.
got that pick, and they're at 5. So I think that might be the Magic's own pick. Oh yeah, Magic from Chicago is the 8th pick,
Okay,
and
so
it's an
wait,
8-player draft. So they really messed that up.
yeah, I feel like Wendell Carter would still really work on this team. Like trading
It made
away picks
more
like that was
sense.
a bad idea.
In my opinion, it made more sense just to keep Wendell because he's a young, developing defensive center who
Yeah,
could switch out onto the perimeter, make some plays. And they went with the exact opposite, a non-defensive, slow-footed center who's really good on offense. And his contract, it goes downwards in salary. So this next year, he's gonna make 24, and then he's gonna make 22 the year after Vucevic is. He made
Wow.
26 this last year. So it's good in that sense. They're taking less of a salary cap hit in the
Yep.
future, but it just doesn't make any sense because it doesn't really help them win.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't feel like it makes sense for the Magic either because they're trading away a center for another center, and then you also had Mo Bamba, who you're basically just throwing away.
I think-
But that's a discussion for a different.
Yeah. For the next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like Mo Bamba is just the project there. I'm not going to talk too much about them right now,
Yep.
but I think Mo Bamba is just a project, and I think that Wendell is who they actually trust in the future.
I don't know. This team is just weird. They have actually two young players. They have Kobe White as well, who's pretty inconsistent, and I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't really know what exactly his potential is.
He needs to definitely figure out what type of player he's gonna become.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 100%, I agree with that.
It's just like I feel like he needs the faster he figures that out, the better for the team.
I think point guard's the hardest position to learn.
Yeah.
And there's so many good point guards now in the league that it's hard to be successful at a young age because you're still going through that learning curve while you're getting absolutely dominated by veteran point guards that know what they're doing.
One of my favorite players on this team is Thaddeus Young.
Yeah, Thaddeus Young, free Thaddeus Young. Please free Thaddeus Young. I wish he's still on the Pacers. He deserves a better situation.
Yeah, he's one of
And
those.
he's 33.
Dogs, you know,
He's a dog.
He's
for
one
sure.
of the best role players in the league.
Yeah, no, like I would love to see like Thaddeus Young on like the Warriors or just somewhere like where they can make use of his skill set. Because even when they make use of his skill set here in Chicago or there in Chicago, it doesn't really do much for them.
Yeah, maybe he can go to the Lakers, do some kind of trade if they don't find anything else. I feel like he'd be pretty good because he can shoot. He's more versatile than Montrezl Harrell.
For sure.
Yep.
Anything else, Bar, on the Bulls?
Just maybe one more thing. It's like I think the Bulls just in general, they're like lacking overall depth. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah, they have like spotty players here and there, but like, you don't
Yeah,
really want to
that's the
rely on
thing
them.
though. When you're a young team, it's hard to get veteran players that want to come there. Like the veteran players on their roster right now are Tomas Satoransky, who's actually 29. I actually thought he was a lot younger than that. Aminu's 30, he's garbage. Felicio's 29, he's overpaid, he's garbage. And then you have
Yeah.
Daniel Theis, who makes no sense on the roster, considering you have Vucevic, you have Felicio, you have all these guys. And then they have 35-year-old Garrett Temple, who shouldn't even be in the league.
Yeah, that's a weird team.
Yeah, it's a very weird team. Like they're young guys that played a lot of minutes this year, young, quote unquote. Or
Yeah.
Javonte Green, he's 28.
Holy.
Ryan Archidiakono's 27. Zach Levine's 26. Larry Markkinen's already 24. So I don't understand which direction this team is trying to go in.
Yeah.
neither do I. But anyways, that's enough for me. Yo, on to the next team, man.
The next
Okay.
team is the Indiana Pacers. That's the team that I was working on. So I feel like the big problem that the Pacers have right now, the elephant in the room, is the fact that they have two centers that are hard to play together in Sabonis and in Turner. And we
Yeah.
talked about this in relation to the Nets, which you probably heard on the last podcast if you listened to it. The trade I had in that podcast was Turner for Dinwiddie. You guys can check that podcast out, listen to that portion of it, because I'm not going to go too deep into that. But their salaries are aligned, and Dinwiddie coming off his injury is a free agent. But chances are he goes back to the Nets, takes a pretty friendly deal for the team, and they're able to move him for somebody like Turner.
He said that he wants to get a pretty big contract though. He's like, if the Nets give me, I remember exactly how much money he said, but he's like, give me so and so amount of money and I'll stay. But if another team gives it to me, I won't hesitate to leave. So
Yeah,
like
Dinwiddie is one of the financially smart players in the league. I don't know if you guys remember, he turned his contract into a public investment system. So
Yeah.
people are able to invest into his contract so that he got paid up front, and then he'd pay the money back on interest in the back end. It's a pretty smart way for him to get his money right away. But if he wants to do something like that, he needs a bigger contract, and I don't know if the Nets are willing to give him that coming off an injury.
Yeah. Maybe they can sign him for more and then trade him for Turner, something like that.
Yeah, I think the dream scenario here is if Kawhi leaves the Clippers, they could probably create a package that the Clippers would be enticed by, because the Clippers did have a roster before Kawhi and PG got there. That was a playoff team of veteran players. So they could go back in that direction if Kawhi left by trading Paul George back to Indiana. They would get back a lot of pieces that could help them stay relevant, as well as players that they could trade like the Thunder did in the future just to get back some picks.
I feel like him going back to
the Pacers
would be very interesting, but if they would trade Miles Turner for him, right?
They would have to trade. Presumably they would have to trade Turner. They would have to trade possibly Karis LeVert, and maybe even have to throw in somebody like a TJ McConnell or an Aaron Holiday, one of those.
I feel like I would be more comfortable giving up a package of like
Warren,
TJ Warren into bonus, and then keep Malcolm Brogdon, keep Karis LeVert,
keep Miles Turner. You're saying so?
Yeah, I like because Miles Turner is as a role player. I feel like works better because he's a better 3-point shooter in Sabonis, and he's better at like pick and pops and defending.
That'd just be funny in the sense that Sabonis would once again be getting traded for Paul George. Before it was Oladipo with Sabonis for Paul George, and now it'd be Sabonis with like TJ Warren.
Bar, what do you think? What do you think the Pistons should do?
I like how Param, I think you said PG should come back.
Yeah.
PG on the Pacers, man. That guy, I think he fits there.
Yeah.
Him on the Clippers, I just don't see it, man.
I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. Honestly, if Kawhi stays, which is probably what he's going to do, Paul George is locked in there. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. But this is a dream world we're talking about. And seeing Paul George back in a number 20, I would want to see him in a 24 jersey, personally, back on the Pacers.
I don't know if he would do that, just out of respect, I feel like.
Yeah, but regardless, him back on the Pacers would be a jump back into the past for us. It'd be pretty cool. Just like if we were to see Derrick Rose go back to the Bulls today, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, I really want to see that.
Yeah.
Big Derrick Rose fan. I will literally buy the jersey on the spot.
Yeah. Okay, so the next team, yeah, for sure. The next team we have here is the Bucks. That was supposed to be Shashank was supposed to join us for the podcast. He couldn't make it, so we have Sumeet substituting for him, and Sumeet's gonna do that portion of the podcast. So
I'm like the substitute teacher that everyone loves, you know.
I don't think anyone loves substitute teachers.
That's true.
Nah, everybody does, bro. What do you mean, bro? Substitute teacher comes in, you know, you're about to kick back, you know, relax. No work done.
Just be like, yo, I already did this last night. Don't worry.
Yeah.
In my personal experience, substitute teachers take a lot of abuse. Anyways, let's talk about the Bucks.
All right. So first off, the Bucks, the first thing they have to do is fire Mike Budenholzer. I understand they won the championship, but still, it's just terrible. I mean, actually,
it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but at the same time, I did see that they made adjustments that allowed them to win the championship. But at the same time, a lot of his schemes still weren't that good. Like, I just feel like a lot of times Chris Middleton bailed him out, and then Giannis just was being Giannis. You know?
Yeah. Giannis is dominant, man. Like, when you have, like, Giannis is one of those few players in the league right now where, like, okay, you have Giannis on your team, you're competing for a championship. I think it's him, KD, like LeBron, a couple other names on there, Luka. Outside of that, you're not really competing for much.
What I don't understand is why you would give away Torrey Craig for, I think it was cash or a second-round pick, one of the two.
And that was the Suns that did that.
Yeah,
the Suns that took him as a part of that deal.
Yeah, the Suns got Torrey Craig, and the only reason why they gave up Torrey Craig is because they signed PJ Tucker, and they didn't want to play both of them together. But I don't understand why you would do that, because you just have more 3-point shooting wings that can defend.
I think they didn't foresee the Dante DiVincenzo injury. Maybe. So they're like, okay, cool, we can trade this guy. We don't really need him. And then DiVincenzo got injured, and they're like, now we need him because.
But regardless, you don't trade away someone like that. There's always a spot for him on the team.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that leads into the next point. The Bucks. The Bucks need to get consistent wings to support Giannis, which goes back to the fact that you traded away Torrey Craig for no reason. But that's just something else, man. They can probably sign someone like, I think Trevor Ariza could be on the table. I don't know if he would go there, but
I feel like that's not a big enough move. I don't know what they could trade at this point in time to make a move up, but if they could get a wing for Brook Lopez, play Portis and Giannis together in the starting lineup, that could be an addition to the team. I just don't think they're going to move Lopez after winning a championship because he came up huge. Like, I'm going to be for real. He played pretty well. And when the time came to outplay the Suns, he did that at a high level. And part of it was because the Suns didn't have a backup center, but part of it was also just because Brook Lopez is a skilled low post player, and that a lot of us forgot that, to be honest.
Yeah, Bar, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I just kind of thought about this right now. It's kind of, I don't know if this is possible, but yo, if Bradley Beal could go to the Bucks,
I don't see how to facilitate that. That would be crazy. That'd be a
him,
great
Middleton,
duo.
and Giannis. Oh, what a
That
team!
wouldn't
That would
that
be
wouldn't
insane.
work. I don't know
No,
what they would trade.
Yeah, because they already traded away all their picks. It's not like they're gonna trade Drew Holiday. Oh, well, obviously they would have to, but I don't know if they would want to.
I think Holiday's value comes from a team that has star players, so that doesn't make sense for him to go there by himself. I don't think it makes sense for Middleton at this point of his career to be somewhere by himself because he's a number 2. I think the team they built is what they're stuck with in the long term because
Yeah.
Chris Middleton's locked in for the next 3 years. The third year is a player option. Giannis is there with a player option all the way in 2025, 2026. So he's there for the next 4 years for sure. Holiday's there for 3 years. Brook Lopez is there for 2 years. They're locked into this core for another 2 years.
Yeah, I wish they could just keep Malcolm Brogdon over Brook Lopez. I feel like that would just be the best decision.
No, definitely. But that's not the world we live in. They didn't see the value of keeping Malcolm Brogdon, and the value of keeping Malcolm Brogdon is that maybe you could keep your picks and trade him for Drew Holiday, but ideally you keep him. You have a starting lineup of him, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez.
No, it wouldn't be Brook Lopez. It would be Bobby Portis because they chose Brook Lopez over Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would also help because there's another issue with the Bucks that I just saw. They don't have a backup point guard that's like consistent because Jeff Teague is washed at this point.
Yeah. Definitely, they need to upgrade their backup point guard. I just don't see them being able to sign one. They'd have to trade for one. And then again, they don't have the pieces to trade for one either.
Yeah.
So they're kind of in a predicament here. So it's a good thing that they won the championship just now because now even Giannis said it, like he would rather win one this way than 2 or 3 somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he won his one. He's happy there. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I also don't think he's winning another one though, especially if the league's healthy again next year.
Yeah, I don't see them winning again, but he got the one he was supposed to.
Yeah, he deserved it for sure.
No, 100%. He definitely deserved it. Anybody that says he didn't deserve it, that's trying to take credit away from him, needs to reevaluate their basketball understanding.
Wait, I got a question for you guys. Would Dennis Schroeder not be possible to go to Bucks?
It depends how much they pay him. I'm talking about the Lakers, but then I think the Lakers are in the same situation as the Bucks where they need him because they don't have another point guard.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but definitely Dennis Schroeder is the kind of player they're looking for coming off the bench.
It's true.
I just don't see how they facilitate a deal like that, considering that he wants $100 million.
And on top of that, I feel like the Lakers want to sign him and use him as a trade piece.
He's going to play there or be used as a trade piece, but I don't think it makes sense based on what the Bucks have for the Lakers to do a deal with the Bucks. The Bucks wouldn't give the Lakers back anything that helps them in that situation.
Well,
anything else in the Bucks?
But yeah, no, nothing else. That's it.
So the next team we have is the Pistons. That's back to Bar.
So basically from what I found for the Pistons is I definitely think that they need a solid point guard that has some experience. I think they're really lacking at the point guard position. What do you guys think of that?
Definitely they lack at the point guard position. Again, it's the same situation. Like no veteran good point guard wants to go to a losing team.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing they're about to fill that hole now with Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Because they have the first pick, and that's presumably who they're going to draft. They're talking about how they're evaluating other talent in the draft, but I think it's just a smokescreen so that they can.
Smokescreen for what? They're already the first pick.
No, teams always do that. They play this little game of cat and mouse to see what other teams are trying to do. Because if they realize in a situation that another team wants, like, for example, Evan Mobley, they could trade down to the second and get back another pick and still take Cade. So that's what I'm talking about. Like they're playing that cat and mouse game to see if they can get something else as well as Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing they're going to fill that hole in. Do you guys think they should trade any or sign or draft anybody else outside of Cade Cunningham, or is that?
I think that's because he's, from what I know, he's the best player in the draft. On top of that, he's what they need.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I think, and they have Killian Hayes. So they have a guard there. But I think the dynamic of two guards that are playmakers that can shoot the ball, that can do a lot of stuff, it's very good for them
Yeah.
going forward.
They also have players like Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee that are just really consistent. You know, they always come through and do the right things.
Yeah, Corey Joseph, you could add to that list too.
Yeah, but the thing about Jeremy Grant is I don't see him being a good third option. I feel like he's like more like a fourth or fifth option.
Yeah, but this team doesn't have any veterans outside of like Wayne Ellington and like Corey Joseph, Mike Mason Plumlee, and those aren't very good veterans, I would say, in the sense that I don't see what Mason Plumlee does to help like somebody like Isaiah Stewart develop.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, and especially if they get Cade Cunningham, right, a guy who's going to be new to the NBA, they're going to need a veteran player that can properly teach, right, everything, give the experience, feedback, everything. I think they definitely need that. But like with the way they are right now, I feel like that's going to be kind of tough for them to get a very good veteran player, right?
especially because they still owe Blake Griffin $29 million, so they have that money tied up into a player that's not even there.
Yeah,
that's insane.
So if Blake were to hypothetically say, okay, I'm going to just take a minimum contract and getting $29 million anyways, that makes sense for him to do. But I think he's going to go somewhere else, get some more money. Regardless, the Pistons kind of hamstrung themselves because
it's crazy. Like they were in the playoffs and everything. They looked good, but it didn't pan out.
It really did not pan out for them, especially because Andre Drummond isn't really that good.
Yeah.
So a team with Blake Griffin who wants to attack the rim and Andre Drummond who's not very good and needs to be beside the rim, it just didn't work. That dynamic didn't make much sense.
Yeah. A side topic I kind of want to bring around is I know Cade Cunningham is going to be the number one pick, right, first round, but we have seen in previous drafts that just because they're number one doesn't mean that they can be great, right?
Yeah,
I think that's very true in the sense that there's a lot of number one picks. Anthony Bennett comes right to mind of players that are number one that are garbage. We had Andrea Bargnani. That draft was kind of garbage, but he didn't really pan out. Not a really good number one pick. So I see what you mean. I think Cade Cunningham is legit. So I don't know.
He's definitely good, but from what I've seen and looked up online research is a lot of people say that he needs to work on his handles, which I don't think he will have a problem doing because it's not really too much to work on. Like for example, shooting, it's very hard to work on shooting.
Yeah,
becoming a consistent shooter. And handling is a different thing, right?
But he definitely has to get that down though because NBA defenders will cookie him all the time.
But I think the one thing that he has going for him is his height. He's like 6'7", 6'8". So
yeah,
despite not having a handle, when it comes to shot creation, he's gonna be able to get off his shots. But definitely having a better handle will help him.
Yeah. And as well as from what I've read is they say he's a player that likes to pass more too. So I think that's a great asset to have as a point guard, right?
Especially they have two point guards like that because Killian Hayes is a playmaker too. So that dynamic is gonna be very cool to watch.
I feel like that's important for a point guard, especially of his age, because he'll come and help the other young players really show what they can do.
I don't know. I think him and Killian Hayes are going to be a duo in the future, like a dominant duo. I could see that in their future, and they did a good job in this rebuild despite everything. Like they're in a good situation now, especially because the number one pick did come to them. Yeah, we wouldn't be saying the same thing if they're drafting fifth, but
that's very true.
It's cool for them. They're finally going to get a star player.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys, on to the next team.
So the next team, the last team in the Central Division, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't know where to start with this one because the Cavs are kind of in a tough spot here. They still have Kevin Love for another 2 years, $31 million next year, 29 the year after that. So that they're going to be in another Blake Griffin situation like the Pistons are, where they probably are going to end up paying him not to play there.
Yeah.
You're going to buy him out. But even outside of him, you have players that just don't make sense on the roster. They have Taurean Prince at $15 million next year. Chetty Osman's kind of garbage. He's making $8 million. Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, that duo is going to get split up soon, presumably, because it doesn't make sense to have both of them. And personally, I would keep Garland because Sexton He's a ball hog. You just need to get off of him.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have a good thing going for them in the fact that they got Jared Allen out of that Harden trade. They kind of lucked out because I don't know why the Rockets didn't take Jared Allen themselves. They could have easily made it a point of the deal to make sure they got Jared Allen.
I feel like it's just because they wanted to keep Christian Wood at center.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for, but it makes more sense to have a big man duo of Wood and Jared Allen because Wood can shoot the ball really good, like at a very high level. So they kind of messed that up.
They messed that up.
We're talking about the Cavs here, and they got lucky getting him. So they have a player. I don't know if that's a player that you can build around because you could definitely build a defense around him, but you can't build an offense around him. So it's kind of difficult for them. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Cavs? They have the third pick, so they're probably going to get Jalen Green. They're going to get another guard, which is another reason they want to trade.
Is he actually shooting guard? Is he an actual shooting guard?
He's a point guard / shooting guard. He's like a combo guard.
Okay.
And so is Colin Sexton. So is Darius Garland. So with that in mind, they're definitely going to try to trade Colin Sexton for a young player at a different position.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they should do.
I mean, Colin Sexton, he's not really, really good, but like, you know, like he's there, right? Like he can still bring something to a team, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It gives him a punch. It's just he's not good on defense.
I mean, he's competitive on defense and he can be good on defense. He's shown the ability to be good on defense. Yeah. But sometimes it feels like he's just making faces and making noise, but he's actually not that good of a defender.
Patrick Beverly.
Yep.
Yeah, he kind of does seem like a bit of a Patrick Beverly just without the dirty play.
Yeah, but he's also way better on offense. So
yeah, he's a lot better on offense too. So you can't really. That's not a great comp, but.
It's just the fact that he's like making weird. I remember that one clip of him, like I don't know what he was doing. He's like stuttering back and forth between two people. I'm like, dude, just go to the ball, bro.
Yeah, that clip was funny. I'll try to link that clip in the description afterwards. It's a very funny clip. You guys should check it out.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think they need to trade Kevin Love, and that's hard to do. Yeah. But I don't think they can do what they see the Blake Griffin situation right now where he's getting paid $29 million not to play there. And I think somebody may need him out of necessity. So it's best just to hold on to him because he's still a decent player. He can shoot the ball pretty well. He has some post game still. He's a good passer at the pinch, kind of like Marc Gasol did for the Raptors, for the Lakers.
He's just in a bad situation right now. I feel like he would still be pretty effective on a pretty good team, but he has to be put in the right situation.
I think he's valuable at a contract now of like $12 million, but he's getting paid 2.5 times that right now.
Yeah.
He's just not worth that money anymore. Yeah. So sorry, we just had a slight issue with the audio recording. We're back. We're gonna close it out really quickly. We were talking about Kevin Love, and I think they should keep them personally going forward.
Yeah.
Try to trade him for something. Just don't get nothing for him.
But that's the thing, though. You're probably not going to get anything, you're not going to get anything really valuable because he has a really big contract. You don't know exactly what you're getting from him.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right, so he's probably just going to be bought out. It'd be interesting to see where he goes.
Yeah, no, definitely. It would be interesting to see where he goes. I just don't see what team would want him or need him. But like I said, like someone's going to need a player like that out of necessity. And I don't know. They have to figure something out with him. I don't know what that would be right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you guys have anything to add for any of the teams?
Just got like one thing I want to talk about is Kevin Love. I feel bad for the guy, man. I feel like his situation is terrible. I definitely think he needs to get out. I don't. Again, you say like you really think any other team? You say a team could use him, but then at the same time, like what team really wants him? Right? I feel like that's the kind of situation he's in.
That's partially self-inflicted, though, if you think about it. The way his demeanor has been completely garbage. He's been a completely trash teammate.
Yeah. Late. Yeah. He hasn't really been supportive at all.
He hasn't really been supportive of. And again, like that's why Colin Sexton is going to get traded. He's an absolute ball hog. He doesn't really do much. He just holds the ball and messes up the offense. And there's clips out there of Kevin Love getting the ball from him and just chucking it at somebody else because he just didn't want it because the possession's dead and there's nothing you can do with it with 4 seconds on the clock after he dribbles for 20 seconds.
That also comes with being a young guard, though. You want to be impressionable.
No, it's one thing to be a young guard, but there's another young guard on that roster that everybody loves. Darius Garland is like a favorite son of the veterans on that team. And then there's Colin Sexton. And Darius Garland's a better scorer potentially going forward than Colin Sexton can be. But like you don't see Darius Garland run up the court and hog the ball. I think Colin Sexton doing that has put a bad rap on Darius Garland.
For sure.
But I feel like Darius Garland is really good. And him and Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs, whichever Jalen end up drafting, could make a positive impact for those teams.
Yeah, it'll also be interesting to see exactly what they get back for Colin Sexton when they decide to trade him, or if they even do.
They're going to look for some sort of wing player because that's just what they need right now. They don't have anything on the wing that is worth keeping. Isaac Okoro is good, actually, though.
Yeah.
So you want to add to that.
Probably get like a power forward of sorts. Keep what's his name? Jared Allen at the center. So that's the best course of action.
Definitely, though, going forward, they do have the pick and roll duo. They do have a wing defender, so they're not looking too bad. And I've seen worse.
Yeah, for sure.
They just need to figure out what they want to do with Kevin Love. Once they do that, they should be in the clear.
For sure.
Anything else, guys?
I think we're good.
That's about it.
All right. It's been real.
Peace.
Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning into today's pod. Shout out to Kaiser Draws for the logo and YouTube banner. And huge shout out to Vic.Ash for the music. Links to the pages will be in the description below. Once again, thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe for more YouTube content.